There are moments in history that announce themselves loudly, with explosions, speeches, headlines, and alarms. And then, there are moments so quiet, so ordinary, that no one realizes they are standing at the edge of something that will change everything. This is a story about one of those moments. A day when nothing extraordinary happened. And yet, the world quietly paused. Not because it was forced to, but because, for the first time in a long while, people chose to listen. It began like any other morning. The sun rose over crowded cities and quiet villages alike. Traffic lights blinked from red to green. Coffee brewed. Phones vibrated with notifications that felt urgent but weren't. In one city, a woman tied her shoes and prepared for another long commute. In another, a farmer stepped into the fields before the heat arrived. Somewhere else, a child complained about school, unaware that childhood is a disappearing miracle. Billions of lives moved forward at once, each believing their day was ordinary. And that was the remarkable thing. Then, something subtle happened. Not a siren. Not a broadcast. Not a catastrophe. Just a pause. A man in a crowded subway looked up from his phone and noticed the face across from him. A woman waiting at a crosswalk realized she couldn't remember the last time she stood still without rushing. For a brief moment, time felt wider. As if the world took a breath it had been holding for centuries. No one coordinated it. No one planned it. It simply spread. In that pause, a question surfaced. Not spoken aloud. Not written. Felt. What are we actually chasing? For some, it came as discomfort. For others, as relief. People had been running for so long. Toward success, survival, validation, distraction, that they had forgotten to ask why. The pause didn't give answers. It only gave space. And space is dangerous, because truth tends to speak when noise disappears. Memories began to surface. A laugh shared with someone no longer around. A dream abandoned for something more practical. A promise made to oneself that was quietly broken. People remembered who they were before they learned to perform. Before productivity became identity. Before rest felt like guilt. Before being busy replaced being alive. Some smiled. Some cried. And some felt something even more unsettling. Hope. Something else happened during the pause. People noticed each other. Strangers exchanged nods. Neighbors spoke for the first time in years. Hands helped without being asked. The world didn't become perfect, but it became human again. Differences still existed. Pain still existed. But so did the quiet understanding that beneath language, culture, borders, and beliefs, everyone was trying to make sense of the same fragile existence. Not everyone welcomed the pause. Some felt threatened by it. Silence has a way of exposing uncomfortable truths. And truth is inconvenient to systems built on speed, consumption, and endless growth. Voices emerged urging the world to get back to normal. But the problem was, normal had stopped making sense. Normal was exhaustion disguised as ambition. Normal was loneliness hidden behind constant connection. Normal was progress without direction. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. The pause didn't last forever. Nothing does. The world began to move again. But not everyone moved the same way. Some returned to their old rhythms, relieved by familiarity. Others carried the pause inside them like a quiet rebellion. They chose differently. To listen more. To consume less. To measure success by meaning, not applause. The world didn't change overnight. But seeds were planted. And history is shaped not by moments of chaos alone, but by small, persistent choices repeated over time. Years from now, historians won't record this day as an event. There will be no monument, no official holiday, no global headline, but something shifted, a subtle recalibration of what it means to live well. And every time someone chooses presence over distraction, kindness over indifference, meaning over momentum, that pause echoes again, quietly, powerfully. The world didn't pause once. It pauses every day, in the seconds between breaths, in the space before a decision, in the silence after a question. The only thing that changes is whether we notice. So the real question isn't whether the world will pause again. It's this: when it does, what will you choose to hear?